The Astros continue to roll, and Yordan Alvarez got started early on the demolition of the Trop with breaking the scoreboard before the game even started. And you say Kikuchi, I say victory.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. I'm still trying to figure out what that was, Brett. I know you're proud of yourself there, but guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out and make us your first listen and become an everydayer like John down there. Thank you, John, for being an everydayer and supporting us. So, guys, today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just go to PrizePicks.com and use the code Locked On MLB and use the code all lowercase Locked On MLB for the first deposit match up to $100. And Brett, when we're not getting ready for the first official day of school tomorrow, it was freshman for me, but tomorrow is when I get all the students. Where can we find you at?
Well, I'm going into day 3 if you're listening on Wednesday. So we are rocking and rolling. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. You can find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on YouTube, on Twitter. On X, on Instagram,
Twitter,
iHeartRadio, Twitter, X. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros right here. Look at that. Look at that. Always positive, always Stros. Got the Stros 411 stickers. I'll be rolling those out here pretty soon. But guys, what a game. We are a game and a half in first place. The Tigers, thank you very much for beating the ever-living crap out of the Mariners 15-1. Logan Gilbert looked terrible today.
Why can't you pitch like that against the Astros? Seriously.
I don't know. But you know what? That's what the end, when the Rays scored, when it was 1-0, and then I saw the other score, I'm like, I don't want this to be one of those where they lose, we lose. We've got to win here. Take advantage. And the Rangers lost too. So we're separating ourselves more from the guys behind us. We're putting ourselves a bit more ahead, and this becomes more important because we've got the Orioles, we've got Kansas City, we've got some tough competition coming after the Chicago series after this one.
Yes, I know. And I know that the Mariners fans probably threw some stuff at the TV and probably have to go buy a new TV. And who knows what they have to do at Tropicana Field after Yordan Alvarez at batting practice did something that nobody's done before. Apparently they don't guard it because they don't think anybody's going to hit it, because not only does it have to go a long way, but it has to clear the rafters. So this had to be a line drive. And after the game, Alvarez, so for those of y'all that don't know, Alvarez hit the Jumbotron at Tropicana Field and it started glitching. And they spent almost the entire game. I don't know if they ever got it really totally fixed, but I know that after the game, they asked him about that. And I know there's a lot of jokes about he's going to have to pay the bill, but he said, well, was there any video of me doing it? If not, I'm not paying the bill. So.
Yeah, exactly. That was a great question by Brian McTaggart. He was the one that actually first posted the photo. And then Julia Morales actually posted timestamped 3 different photos, and it just continued to get worse and worse. Yordan Alvarez is to big screens what Shaquille O'Neal was to backboards. I mean, I remember Shaquille O'Neal is the reason why there's a guy wire hanging from every NBA stadium on every goal, because he absolutely didn't break the backboard. He broke the hydraulic system on the goal in Phoenix. So Yordan Alvarez,
don't call him the big fella for nothing.
That's right, Yordan Alvarez. And dude, it is so great because it's like maybe you should have walked Bregman. Oh wait, there's Yordan Alvarez right behind him. These two guys are absolutely on fire. I just hope they continue to do it. They don't have to do it at this level, but just stay hot, stay comfortable. Everything Alex is seeing, I think that baseball probably looks like a grapefruit, Eric.
Right.
But you love the fact that Kikuchi did a great job today. 7 wins in a row, Eric. 7. Right. And we matched our longest winning streak of the year today.
Yes, they're 9 games over 500 right now. The Astros are doing well, like 7 straight wins. And the fact that the Mariners were able to lose, that's good. You have that game and a half. I want to address something that came in the comments. A lot of y'all listen live. We appreciate that, but a lot of people listen later, and somebody put a comment that said, well, how do you get the half game? Like, how is that possible? You don't play half games. And as a math teacher, I know you can't buy half a cell phone, so that goes into discrete functions and all that, but we're not going there. But the way that comes out is one of the teams has played more games than the other game. So at the end of the year, they typically catch up to each other, unless it doesn't matter. That last 162nd game doesn't matter. But sometimes they don't run on the same schedule. So you're going to have those half games. So that's where that half game came from. So somebody asked about, why is it a half game lead? How can it be a half game lead?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just math. I mean, you're the math guy. Right. I'm clearly not. But what I do like is nine games over 500, a game and a half. And Eric, we had this team, not necessarily the run was over for us, but we were like, man, are they ever going to crawl out of this hole? Because we know the Astros are your classic slow starting club, but this slow start seemed to run deeper, and not just with 1 or 2 players. It was also with the injuries. And when you have that many injuries and you have everything going wrong at the same time, you're just like, wow, are we just going to go into baseball oblivion? I mean, and imagine the White Sox are having a year that's probably 10 times worse. I mean, they are at an all-time low. They are approaching record numbers for losses in a season. So, look, we climbed out of it. And what did I say when we were struggling? If there's any team that could climb out of this and make the playoffs, it's the Houston Astros.
And I know they're talking about on MLB Network, and I think it was Mark DeRosa who basically said no team can ride the highs and lows like the Houston Astros do. And that's why he thinks that this team is the team to beat. And the World Series goes through Houston again. Does that mean they're going to get to the World Series? Who knows? It all depends on how they're playing at the time. But even when the Astros were playing bad baseball, they weren't they were never letting themselves get down. Oh, it's still early. I know as commentators or whatever podcasters, we were getting frustrated. Like, well, do something about it. Do something, fix it. You know, that little stick where you're poking at something and say, do something. But I know that all of us want the manager to go out there and get mad, yell at players, and go out and trade for all your prospects to get more players at the trade deadline. But the Astros knew what type of team they had, and they kept the faith, and they kept the belief, and not only not to mortgage the entire future, but to build what they have here. And Kikuchi was a great addition. He hasn't been like going out there and doing what Randy Johnson did for the Astros when he came in. Nobody could do what that he did. I guess Justin Verlander did pretty close when he came in, but he's going out there and giving you exactly what the Astros needed. Innings, and he's giving you quality innings, and he's faced the Rays back-to-back games and had great outings. So I think that this would, at the end of the day, it's going to be a great trade for the Houston Astros. I think we're going to look back at this, and heck, we may even see him start some playoff games for the Astros. I know that there's some names, especially Hunter Brown, and you got Arrighetti, who's lighting up the strikeouts right now, and Ronel Blanco, even though he's not looking like the same Ronel Blanco. But I'm not envious of Joe Espada, come the playoffs, because he's going to have to make some tough decisions. And Brett, we'll go ahead. I want to get your opinion on that in a second. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Liquid IV. When you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV. Popsicle firecracker flavor is a surefire summer hit. Get 20% off your first order when you order at liquidiv.com. Use the promo code MLB. Get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Blast off with these iconic flavors such as acai berry, lemon lime, and pina colada. Powered with live hydroscience and optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off if you use the code MLB at liquidiv.com. And this episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is an amazing app, and why not join myself, Eric, and 5 million of your closest friends for America's #1 fantasy sports app, the easiest and most exciting way to play fantasy sports. It's not you against thousands, it's you against the numbers. You pick more or less than 2 or 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Make sure that you check out their promotions, because they've got them going on all day, every day. PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Now, download PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We appreciate every one of you everydayers out there. Why don't you go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well. Go and check out Sully over at the Locked On MLB podcast. He does a great job over there. And I know we have a couple of the Rays fans in here, so go check out the Locked On Rays podcast as well. So I know that Brett, the rotation, especially we'll talk about Verlander in a little bit later, but with Verlander on the verge of possibly returning in the next week or so, this rotation is looking pretty good. Yeah. If I were to ask you right now, top 4, who's going to be your top 4 starters for the rotation, assuming that Justin Verlander is totally healthy?
Assuming that he's healthy, and depending on matchups, I just still think Espada's going to go Justin Verlander 1. I think he's your starter. I think you have to go the way Framber's pitching, Framber 2. I think you go Hunter Brown 3 and Kikuchi 4. That's how I would draw it up. Ronel Blanco would just be a guy that you could put in the bullpen who would not be a bad bullpen option. But those would be my 4. Now, the order is debatable, but Joe Espada is more of your baseball has a pecking order. And even if Hunter Brown is pitching out of his mind, I still don't think you take him. I mean, if he's pitching the way he's pitching, their third starter is not as good as Hunter Brown is right now. So that actually makes sense. So that would be how I would fashion the 4.
I think the Astros need to figure out a way to limit some of these guys' innings, because you know that Arrighetti and Brown have already surpassed their innings.
Arrighetti, I didn't even mention Arrighetti. I'm sorry. So you got Arrighetti and Blanco kind of on the outside, but those aren't bad outsides to have. So I think they're stacked and jacked, to be honest.
Yeah, and if you go in deep into a series like a 7-game series, you might need starters like that. They can be like long relievers. If starter has to get shelled early, you need somebody to pitch kind of that bulk inning. So I definitely you got to have those type innings. But Ort has been showing something like we talked about yesterday. I know that I guess let's go ahead and talk about it now. I have it at the bottom, but since we're talking about the pitching, the bullpen. Josh Hader, 26 straight saves. This is awesome.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job, especially after what he did to start the season. I think there's a lot of pressure kind of supplanting Presley as a closer. I think there's pressure for him to perform at the beginning, but now he's comfortable. He feels like this is back home. What's going on with Ryan Presley? I mean, his velocity's down a little bit. He didn't look very well in this game, so I don't know what's going on. And props to Espada for actually bringing Brian Abreu in the 6th inning so early in this game too.
Yeah, definitely. And let me just kind of put a final bow on what I was saying. I was talking about Verlander pitching if he's healthy, if he's ready to go as an ace. If he's not, then I think you can easily pitch him third. You could go Verlander, you go Brown, and then you could go Verlander third and Fromber first. But Verlander's got to be on top of his game. Dude, Ryan Presley, I'm sorry. Ryan Presley and the 8th are like oil and water right now. They just are. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. And it's so funny. People get their favorite players, and then you speak facts, and they're like, "Oh, you're being a hater." No, I'm being realistic. Like, Presley's terrible in the 8th. I've talked to a couple people, some former major league people, and not Mike Stanton, but just I asked some others about him, and they said, I just don't think he's got it right now. Like he just looks like something's off. He may be tired. Mentally, he may be spent because he's grinded all year. He's worked through this, losing his closing job. And I don't care what he says. It's a freaking demotion, period, end of story. You paid someone a ton more money. You brought in the guy that's supposedly the best closer. You've been the 5th best closer, and you just lost your job to the top dog. And look, that's how the cow eats a cabbage. And Presley's the only person that can help himself. He will, look, Chris, you're right. He does turn it up in the playoffs. There's a comment here that says Presley turns it up in the playoffs. And I'm not saying he's lost or gone or done for, but right now I would not pitch Presley in the 8th period. I just would not. I would put him in the 7th. But then again, are you?
That's a demotion. You're making it worse.
Yeah, true, you are making it worse. I guess you got to keep rolling them out there in the 8th. But oh well, hey, we can cry we're spilt milk. The bottom line is Hader got the job done and we won.
All right, yeah. So Kikuchi in today's game, 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. His ERA on the season is 4.49. It is going down since he has joined the Houston Astros. I believe it was 4.75 when he was traded to Houston. You had Abreu come in and pitch 1 1/3 innings. Presley, he allowed the bases loaded, but luckily he was able to get out of that jam, only allow 1 run in that game, that inning. 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So thankfully that was all it was. And then Hader came in and did his job. So overall, the pitching did its job in this game. But holy moly, it wasn't quite the big offensive day like we've been seeing. But Bregman, geez, 4 straight games with a home run. I joked about it on X. We all remember that Texans player. I don't remember his name, but he wrote on his shoes, "Pay me, Rick," about getting an extension or something. And so I think every time Bregman goes out there and hits a home run, he's saying, "Pay me, Dana. Come on, give me the money. Show me the money." And so that's what's going on here. And not only did he do that, but he went 3 for 5. He had 2 runs and 1 RBI. He's getting close to 800 OPS. Will it happen? I don't know.
Dude, Bregman's killing it, man. Eric, I mean, he, for all intents and purposes, is really just. I mean, he's just great right now. And hey, going back to Presley, Eric,
Mhm.
one more outing, and his option vest. He has to get to 50 appearances in his $14 million option vest. So yes, he will be here next year.
Yes. So Ryan Presley will be back, and
But
it's
someone mentioned he did have 20 straight scoreless innings or something like that.
Right.
Look, Presley, when he's on, he's on. I've seen it. I've seen him do it. He did it in 22. I mean, he was one of the big reasons why we won the World Series. But, gosh, you're right, Eric. I start thinking about like moving him out of the 8th, and I'm like, oh, wait, I'm wanting to demote him more. I'm wanting to just demoralize the guy.
You're just doing the same thing as Spada did. Come on, think about it, Brett.
But I'm not the actual manager, okay? I can make those mistakes.
Hey guys, thank you for making us your first listen. Thank you for listening to our conversations, even when they get off track. We got almost 300 people listening to this live. So thank you for becoming everydayers, and we'll be back in a second.
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Ibotta. Ibotta is a great app. It's free. You can download it and use the code LOCKEDONMLB. Sandals, sunscreen, snacks for the kids. Why do I mention these things? And what do they have in common? Well, you're buying a ton of them this summer. We know it. And you can stock up on all these things. And not only stock up on them, you can earn money while purchasing them. Why would you get any other discount card or be a part of any other club when all you do is add up points? That's pointless, right? So get this free app. It lets you earn cash back every time you shop. You can earn hundreds on items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys. So make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, a flight that you've been eyeing, or a fancy dinner you have been wanting to take. I've told you other apps just get points. And what's cool about this is you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. You can save on over 2,400 brands, shop 1,000 retailers, including Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store, Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA at the Google app or Play Store, and you can use Locked On MLB today. And this episode is also brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts. For your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need, with the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And I am reading Brett's mind right now. We have been co-hosts for so long that I know exactly what he's saying. How hot has Alex Bregman been? Well, on these last 8 games of this road trip, he is 16 for 37 with 9 extra base hits. That's a .432 batting average. During that time, the Astros are 7-1. So, Brett, I answered your question there. So he started the season with a batting .201 with a .534 OPS. It has risen all the way up to .770 at this point. So can he get to 800 OPS if he stays this hot for the rest of the year? Maybe. But I don't think it's about that.
You're like, maybe. Yeah,
no, it's not about.
I know, but yeah, hold on. Yes, he can. Why are you underselling it? This dude is on fire. Like, yes, he can.
He can't be this hot the rest of the year. He could be good the rest of the year.
What is he at?
He's not going to hit 4 home runs. I mean, a home run in 4 straight days for this year.
I know, but he can get walks. He hasn't been getting walks. He's been getting strikes because Jordan hits behind him.
Right.
So he's been swinging the bat. So that's yes, he can, Eric, he can get to 8. What is he at OPS wise? Tell me.
He's at
770.
770.
Okay. So 770, 30 points. You've still got a little bit of a hill to climb. But hey, you haven't mentioned this, have you? Yainer Diaz playing first base. What
I
is
was just
going
about to bring
on
that up,
here?
yeah.
Wow. Yainer Diaz playing first base and doing a good job, might I add. Wow. I mean, look, that's a hot corner. That could be the difference between 1 or 2 runs in a baseball game, Eric. And he did a really good job. Helped make the last out of the game. And so I love seeing that. I love seeing Yainer Diaz, and Todd Callis was right. He looked like he was having just as fun at first as he does it as catcher. But we've met him. He's that kind of guy.
Yeah, and he is officially a catcher batting 300. He went 2 for 4 today, and he's batting 301 with a 778 OPS. Jeremy Pena had another home run today. He's already hit more home runs than he did all of last year. So this guy looks like he's rediscovered his swing. He's got an OPS of 723. Caratini, we'll talk about Caratini in a second, but his OPS is 782. In limited playing time, but to have a backup, to have this catching duel, you don't get this much.
No,
you don't get this in baseball.
It's a far cry from last year because you pretty much had Maldonado and whenever Dusty wanted to play Yainer. And look, and don't forget Cesar Chavez. I mean, Cesar Salazar, Cesar Chavez, good Lord. Cesar Salazar came in and did an admirable job when he was up here. So, right. If for some reason you have to go into the well, you've got a guy that can come up with confidence and do a great job behind the plate and at the plate.
Right.
See, I don't know what, dude. Guys, this is my second full day of teaching. I was on a New York podcast before this, and so y'all have got to spare me a little bit. I'm gonna make a few flubs tonight.
Yeah, we are a little tired. I'm getting ready, and I'm So anyway, so the Astros are 64-55 right now. They are first in the AL West at 1.5 games above the Mariners. The Mariners got pummeled today. The Rangers lost again, and they're now 9 games behind the Houston Astros. So they're getting closer and closer to being the A's. So unfortunately, that was a situation that I don't think a lot of people saw coming, but with their pitching, with especially all the money they invested in the pitching and going out and making those trades. We don't know what's the future holds for the Rangers. We do know that the Mariners are a good team. So the Mariners did get kind of handled today by Skubal.
It got brutalized. That was.
I'm trying to be nice here.
Oh, whatever, man. Dude, see us sink, man. I'm so tired of the Mariners. We need to put that to rest, and the Astros just need to keep winning. But look at this. I'm going to throw up the numbers of Kikuchi's 3 starts here, okay? 5 2/3 innings pitched, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. Look, he's not going a full 6, but he is absolutely dealing when he's in there. He did have a few, his strikeouts have gone down each time, but his ERA is at 270 now.
Yeah, with the Astros.
This is a guy coming over. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's like the 5th worst pitcher in the whole league." And what are we doing? I like him, and if he finishes this year strong and is a key contributor in the playoffs, Eric, I don't see why you don't keep him and maybe find an extension for him if you can afford him.
Yeah, overall with the Astros, 16 2/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 6 walks, 24 strikeouts. Like you said, 2.70 ERA. So if you're getting that from the 4th starter, I would take that. Once Verlander comes back, he may become the 5th starter. I'm exaggerating. I know that he's a little bit ahead of Arrighetti at this point. Ronel Blanco, we know he needs some more rest in between starts. So I think they're going to be definitely going from a 6-man rotation as soon as Verlander comes back. So we do have some news about Verlander. He'll be making his next rehab start for Thursday for the Corpus Christi Hooks. He's expected to throw between 70 to 75 pitches. Last time he threw 52 pitches. So just like I said, they're going to they have a certain checkpoint. And I said like 50 to 75. And so from there, he'll probably just pitch 5 innings when he gets back to Houston. But at that point, that's probably good enough for the Astros and on 6-man rotation.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm excited. I'm excited about this team. I love it. Hey, you know what? We swept the Red Sox. Why don't we sweep the Rays? That'll be fun.
Yeah, hopefully. I know they brought up their top prospect, and Victor Caratini almost took him out. So I don't know if y'all saw that, but what happened was I can't say, what is his name? His name is, there's 2 of them that their names kind of sound the same. So Caminero. So he actually fouled a ball, and Caratini was going after it, and then so they collided, and it looked very awkward. And so I know that Caminero was kind of limping around a little bit, but he stayed in, struck out. But this is the number 2 strikeout. No, not number 2 strikeout. The number 2 prospect in baseball. So this guy is going to have a legit future. But he's already had a cup of tea. He's already faced Kikuchi in his career. So this was interesting that the Rays chose now. I think they feel like this is the chance to. They can't keep on losing, and definitely not to the Astros.
And just a note, I believe the Hooks are going to be on the road. I don't think they're going to be at home whenever Justin Verlander. Last time I looked, they're going to be somewhere in Arkansas. I don't even know what team is up there. So some town in Arkansas, and Southwest Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas is going to get a real treat seeing Justin Verlander. Victor, oh yeah, of course they're booing him because that's their top prospect. Well, hey, that's all we got. This has been a great edition of Locked On Astros. Thank you for 300 plus people joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe. And look, we're climbing to 20,000 because of you. And I still got a couple tickets left for the September 1st game. Hit me up.
All right, guys, we'll see you later, and go Astros.